Hello and welcome to another animation live stream. I don't know what this weird motion is about. Gonna be working today on doing some shading for some animation that has already been finished. Throwing shade-ing is going to be the name of the stream. I would actually love to be able to fully color this today and get it completely finished off, but that ain't gonna happen. I do not have time for that. I've got to run in about an hour's time, so yeah, my sister's in town staying with my mum, so I'm gonna go and have pizza at my mum's. Get in. So, but before that, we can get some shading done, and we'll be working on Kilgar here. So, I've already done all the shading separation. You can basically see that, you know, the areas have been. I've got to break them apart here. They've already been animated. If you can kind of see the grey lines there that wrap around parts of the character's anatomy. So that's all already been done by me. And you know what, man? It took me basically all day. And this is a very long shot. There's a lot of frames of animation. Looks like there's, what, nearly 50 in total, which is a lot. But I'm thinking about next year, in our Lord's year of 2020, hiring, maybe not full-time, because I don't think I can afford full-time, but just hiring somebody to do shading and coloring, because I animated this scene in record time. I mean, I'm animating faster than ever, but the shading and the highlighting still just takes me forever. So I'm just going to break these frames apart. I've got to have one hand on the keyboard there, hitting Control B for every individual frame, which is just so boring. It's so tedious. That's the fastest way I think I can do it. And what I'll do then is I'll come by the chat and see what you chaps and chapesses are talking about, and hopefully we don't have any horrible crippling audio issues like last time. The music was way too loud in my previous stream, and I didn't realize. I saw people were saying in the chat, but I didn't notice until I saw a replay later on, and it was way too loud. So hopefully the volume levels are okay today. Hopefully the audio has no issues and sounds okay. So let me see what's going on. Wow, the chat is already populated with individuals. Hey. Neo the fat guy says, holy shit, he looks scary with blank eyes and no mouth. I guess he's talking about Kilgar there and not me, because I definitely have a big red mouth. Alright, boys and boyesses. Let's get this done. Let's start filling in areas with shading. It's very boring. I don't think this will make a particularly interesting stream for you guys to come and watch. But on the plus side, it's going to be over quickly because I got to get gone. Got to be out of here in basically 1 hour. So yeah, just under an hour. So I'll do my best to maybe, can I get 50 shots, 50 frames done in an hour? That's basically 1 frame a minute. So that'd be a fun thing to test. If anyone wants to keep track, we can see, you know, half an hour in. Am I 30 frames in half an hour in, or am I only 20 frames in? Because then we can judge if we'll comfortably be able to do 50 frames in 50 minutes. That would be, I'd be happy with that. And honestly, it looks like I think we're going to be able to do that. So let's get going. And I'll come and see what people are saying in the chat and drink some water. Hello, Dope Waves. Thank you for coming by. Good to have you with us. Delaxia says, I feel like a grandma listening to this. Well, these are grandma-friendly streams, you know? They're calming, they're relaxing. I don't, at any point, suddenly flash strobe lights out of my eyes and scream as my head rotates. I did scream earlier, but, you know, we're not all perfect, so get off my back, will ya? But yeah, this is a grandma-friendly stream. It's not quite ASMR, but sometimes it's chill. Depends if I've had coffee or not. Depends if I'm in the mood for being a wacky guy. How was your Christmas, Harry? Says Dope Waves. Oh, it was good, thank you, but it's very much still unfolding. I'm going to go be with other family in a couple of days that I've not seen yet. So I've got to go hop on a plane and go and see those guys and do kind of Christmas part due. But that's going to be good. And yeah, it's been very well. How has your Christmas been? Hopefully good stuff. And hopefully you're going to have a good new year too. Or whatever you celebrate. I didn't get any toys this year. I did get this Boss He-Man t-shirt. Just like He-Man wears in the cartoon. He wears a t-shirt with his own face on it. But yeah, I got a very lovely He-Man t-shirt from my sister Holly. And I got some really cool stuff, actually. She got me a masterclass tutorial series by Ron Howard, which I have not watched yet. It's going to take a while to get through it, but I'm looking forward to that. Some very nice stuff from my mum. Some nice sort of manscaping, deodorizing type implements. My stepdad got me some glasses. Where are they? Probably in a heap somewhere in a shattered pile of bits and pieces. I got new sunglasses and new prescription glasses so that I can see what I'm doing. But right now I'm wearing contact lenses, so I'm not completely blind. And and Red Dead Redemption 2, which I have not played yet, but I got that for Christmas, which well, I hadn't played yet, sorry. I've played it a little bit now. And it's amazing. It's an absolutely amazing game. But I gotta be honest, I don't have the time. There is so much to do in that game. I can completely see that it's the kind of game I could lose myself in and just play, you know, play all day and all night for basically an entire year and never get anything done. But I gotta get things done. I am very much overdue on my life and my entire career, so I'm just going to get to play it, I think, in bits and pieces. But it's the kind of game that I can drop in and out of, as those Rockstar games usually are. You can just pick up your game, get on your horse, ride around, rub some people, shoot some people, all that kind of wholesome family fun, and yeah, have fun that way. So yeah, had a good Christmas, but no toys this year. The only toy I bought for myself, which was this Poe Dameron figure. I am not particularly a fan of The Last Jedi or the new Star Wars movies. He does not want to come into focus. Silly Poe. I just my sister's boyfriend got one for Christmas, and I was really enamored with how the helmet comes off. Don't laugh, okay? And the little gun comes out. Again, that's not dirty either. And I just thought, man, I want that little guy. So I found one for cheap, and I picked him up in town. So that was fun. All right. Let me see what else you guys are chatting about in the chat. Who's my favorite rap singer? Yeah, definitely the phrase rap singer got used the other day by an older member of my family, who we should not mock. We should not mock them for using the phrase rap singer, or my mum saying to Alexa, what was it she said? She asked Alexa what the film was that she watched the other night, and I was like, Mum, it's not really how Alexa works. You've got to specify, got to phrase it in a different way. I mean, I'm sure one day Alexa's going to be able to tell you, especially if you watched it through Amazon. They'll tell you exactly the film you watched, and I already find Alexa, that whole thing, kind of creepy. But it's going to get creepier the more clever she gets, the more observant she becomes. So, all right. Whoop, 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 whoop. So, where are we? He comes down. Shade that bad boy in. And I'll see what is happening in Chattown, USA. Yo, Harry, how are we doing? We're good, Rusty Brusher. Hope you're good too. Tyler AAA Durden. Do sex toys count? No, of course not. I would have listed them separately. Dope Wave says, my Christmas has been cool. Good to hear it. Hey, Sam Gay. Hello, Eunice Hamid. Alright. Well, we can keep going with this bad boy, because he needs to be shaded. Because, I'm an idiot, and I decided that these characters needed shading. I love shaded characters in animation. I just love detail in animation. I love to see characters with lots of detail moving around. I don't find simple, basic characters particularly enjoyable to watch. But they're enjoyable to animate. It's really a pain in the backside to animate anything with this level of detail. And then on top of that, you throw the shading on top, you got a problem. You got a big problem. Hey, Davy88, thank you for coming by. Let me see anything juicy. Hey, Benzai. Good to see you, Ben. Ben is, if you guys do not know who Ben is, Benzai live in the chat. Ben is the reason that Starbarians still exists. He has been an amazing benefactor, supporter, helper outer over the years, and he translates the episodes into French. So I give him episodes of the cartoon to dub into French, and he does a really good job dubbing them and mixing the sound. And so yeah, if you ever want to watch Starbarians in French, look up Starbarbar, Starbarbars, and you can watch them in French. So if French is your native language, I encourage you to check them out in French, so you don't have to spend every second with the ear cocked trying to pick out what I'm doing with the English language. I don't speak English well anyway to begin with, so if you struggle with English and you speak French better, then check out Ben's work. All right, so how we doing time-wise? All right. I got to pick up the pace a little bit. We're going to try and do 50 frames in 50 minutes, which is probably not going to happen. But if I can get it done in just an hour from now, I'd be basically okay. I think we could do it. So we're not coloring this, by the way, just shading it. So why do you do shading this way? Asks Terranium. I don't know what way I should be doing it. What other way is there to do it? Because this is endlessly changeable. If I create a 50% opacity black layer, and that's what I'm using right now. This is obviously not solid opaque black. It's 50% transparency. If I use that, I can allow it to sit on top of the colored animation frames, and then I can make them. I can pump up certain color values. I can make the shadows more red, more green, whatever. And it also means that I don't need to come up with tons and tons of unique colors. It's basically a time-saving thing. The greatest time saver would just be to cut the shading entirely, but the time-saving approach that I use is just applying one 50% opacity black layer on top of the animation, and then I can kind of, use that to change the color value of the flat colored frames underneath. So a blue will become 50% darker blue, or a green will become 50% darker green, and then I can change those values and tweak them by if you use Photoshop or any of the Adobe products, they call it a blend or overlay kind of effect that you apply to a layer, and that's what I'd apply to the shading layer here. See, the flat color layer looks like that, and then it'll have color applied to it, and that sits underneath the shading layer, which now looks like this because I keep accidentally coloring the lines 50% black. So now they're both turned on. So it works for me, man. It's a system that works for me. Hey, Comic Tropes. I see. Where was he? Sorry. Yeah, there he is. Comic Tropes. Thank you for coming by. All right. So Laszlo the Great says, you said the other day that you would not be accepted by Netflix because it is politically incorrect. Have you seen Netflix's Love, Death, and Robots? No, I have not seen Love, Death, and Robots. So, no, I mean, I haven't seen everything that Netflix does, obviously. But I would assume that the stuff I do would not be an easy sell. It would be a mark against it. Also, like, I'm too busy just trying to make stuff. I'm too busy to make stuff to try and go around and pitching it. But I mean, I have something cooking on the pot. Don't worry about that. Don't worry, I got stuff cooking on the pot. I am talking to people about doing some interesting things with these characters, and I think we'll get around to it eventually. It's just a matter of when, not if. Just because I'm not, pushing it to the forefront doesn't mean I'm not working on something. So, all right. So he really pops up fast here. It's like almost too fast, but it's kind of a funny, silly, broad moment, and I think it works okay. Hey, Figment. Figment says, "Hey guys, hope you all had a great Christmas, happy holidays, and you're having a great day." We're having a great day, and then Figment turns up and just the whole thing smushed. Ruined. No, it's been an okay day so far. Pretty boring for me because I've just been doing this all day, doing the line separation and doing highlights and stuff. Harry, have you seen The Rise of Skywalker? Asks Unisamid. Yes, I have. Not everyone may have seen it, so I won't go into spoilers. But if you want to know my opinion on it, basically not very good. But that, to me, is par for the course for this entire trilogy, which I think has been unnecessary, to say the least, and to say the worst. Pretty damn bad. Pretty offensive to a old-fashioned, hardcore Star Wars fan like myself. Didn't like it. But I won't give any spoilers in case people are yet to see it and want to see it, because I hate spoilers. I have a friend who doesn't seem to think it's a big deal at all to just talk about the plot of a movie before you've seen it. And I think it's understandable if it's a 50-year-old movie, but if it just came out that weekend and you're planning to see it, to have somebody go and tell you the plot is that's just sacrilegious. You don't do that to people. Tyler Durden says, there seems to be a large market of your tutorial series through Patreon. Do you think it's a viable way to make some money in the animation field? Maybe, but I don't want to do it. I'd rather just make stuff. I don't want to tell people how to make stuff, because that, to me, is not enjoyable, particularly. I'd rather make things. I know what you mean. It may be a way to make money, but Patreon has been very, very good to me this year, in fact. And the people who kindly support me there have not really gotten very much in return. So I feel that I'm actually very happy to just work on Patreon and try and give people a lot more in 2020 and make that better for them. And I think that will grow that, base of people by just giving them a little bit more for their money. So Patreon's been awesome. I honestly couldn't have been treated better by the people on there. I'm amazed at how many people have stuck around, given how long it takes me to make something. It takes me a long time, by the way, if you were guessing. If you weren't sure what I meant by that. It just takes me forever to do anything. But you can kind of see why. This is a 5-second shot and it's taken me a couple of days. Oh boy. Alright, let me see what you chatting people are chatting about. Terranium, you're gonna make those top 10 animation cheats videos next year? Yeah, maybe, because that to me is funny. I think I could make it funny and entertaining and make it a piece of entertainment in its own right. Not really I don't really think I'd want to make funny tutorials. So that would kind of be a tutorial, right? Time-saving techniques is you're still teaching people. So maybe, yeah. Yeah, Bowser Dog agrees that the Rise of Skywalker was maybe a bit stinky. It was quite stinky. They really stunk up the place with that film. Although I liked it more than the previous effort, The Last Jedi. Starring this guy. He's pretty cool though. I do like the removable gun. Is really, really cool. And the helmet that comes off. And the head that comes off too. You can remove his head like that. Which is fine, because you just put the head back on. Would you ever participate in a Reanimate project? Asks Gen's Portfolio, or Jen's Portfolio. I'm not sure how you say that. I can't get the helmet back on here. No, I wouldn't, I don't think. I don't see the point particularly, because the thing already exists. I'd rather make something new, as opposed to, remake something that already exists and just do it a little bit differently. I think that's good for people that don't have a way to get their work seen, because if you don't have a YouTube channel that has audiences, a big audience, and you're an animator, it's a nice way, by packaging your work with, the work of 100 people in a Reanimate collab, it's a good way to get it seen. But I don't feel I have an exposure problem. I have a getting stuff done problem. I have a finishing projects, and finding, hours in the day to complete them problem. So that's what I want to work on. I don't really care too much about finding a way to get my animation out there, because I've been very fortunate with the whole build it and they will come attitude. I just I always seem to find an audience for the things I do. I'm very, very fortunate and lucky in that way. So my issue is just getting something actually made, because animation, when it's detailed, and you're trying to do it to a high standard, it's a lot of man hours or woman hours, depends on who you hire. There we go. Hey, Tatiana. Tatiana says, "Hi Harry, have you thought about doing a toy collection video? Would love to see it." Too lazy. I'm too lazy. I'm just looking at them over there. Nah. I mean, I don't have like a particularly cool collection or anything. I don't collect things that are valuable. I collect things that I find personally appealing, so it's kind of a random grab bag of stuff. But probably the biggest problem is that right now I don't have half of it even displayed. It's in boxes waiting until we move house. And we don't have, you know, a house in mind, but we're planning to move, I think, in the next year or two. So maybe when I've done that, maybe when I've settled into a new place, maybe I will, you know, set up like the room and you know, have the collection room, and then I can do a really cool collection video. But right now I just have boxes that I'd have to open, and just dust and cockroaches would come out, and it wouldn't be a good time. Wouldn't be a good time for anyone. Rusty Brushes says, "I have this really cool toy of the Jedi fighter spaceship Anakin flies in the prequels. I'm absolutely gutted I haven't found it yet." You haven't found it yet? Wouldn't it just be Anakin's Jedi Starfighter from Hasbro? You could just type that in on Google, I would think, and you'd find, you know, eBay sales or maybe even an Amazon sale of some old stock. You can go to rebelscum.com, which is an archive of old Star Wars toys, and basically go to the action figure, the photo archive for the figures. You find the toy line that it was in, and just, there'll be photos of it from every angle. You'll be able to double check and cross-reference to see if that was the one you had when you were younger or not. I was too cool for school when Revenge of the Sith came out. I was in my very brief period, age 17, when I didn't really buy toys. I think I bought toys up until about 15, 16. Didn't buy toys for about 2 or 3 years when I was a cool cat. And then suddenly buying toys again, aged maybe 20, 21 was when I started getting toys again. And I have not let up since. I was wondering something today. I was pondering a question. Most people kind of, I guess, under the age of like 40 or 50, would probably consider playing video games a lot less embarrassing than playing with toys. And I don't play with toys. I like the visual aesthetic of them, and there's like nostalgia there, I guess. I don't really bash them together. That's a meme. I don't really do that. But a lot of people would consider, I mean, if I did want to play with toys, they would consider that to be probably a very childish, insane thing for a grown adult to be doing. But they wouldn't have the same attitude necessarily with video games. And I was trying to think, why is it that making believe in a video game is not embarrassing for an adult, but making believe with toys is embarrassing? And I came to the conclusion there's a lot of good answers to that, but I think it's the challenge aspect. That a video game challenges you. You're not being challenged by a lump of plastic, you know, you're not being challenged by a toy. But you can, on a video game, you can compete against other people, or you can challenge your personal best time, whatever. You can do speed run. It's a skill, really, and there isn't so much a skill when it comes to playing with toys. But then, I feel that a lot of my desire to tell stories came from playing with toys as a kid. And then I did challenge myself. I challenged myself to come up with the best or funniest story that I could with the toys that I had. It was a case of come up with what would be the coolest thing that now would happen. Now Batman has gotten in the Ecto-1 and he's driven Beetlejuice over. Okay, he's squished his head. What would happen? Well, Beetlejuice could grow another head, okay, because he's Beetlejuice. Or, you know, the Ecto-1 would somehow get infected with Beetlejuice's ghost. The ghost of a ghost would haunt the Ecto-1, and they couldn't bust it because it's the ghost of a ghost that's already died. You know, just stuff like that. And I would be challenging myself in a kind of mental way. So I do think that, I mean, it is embarrassing as hell. You shouldn't probably be playing with toys as a grown-up. I'd get that checked out. But there is still a challenge you can create for yourself. Or, yeah, a lot of people do posing with action figures, which is something I don't do. I just stand them up next to each other because I got bills to pay and it's too much effort. But a lot of people take that as a way to you know, visually express an idea or create a scene. It's like a weird kind of form of art. You're like posing these characters in a visually interesting way, which is kind of fun. Anyway, I've ignored the chat for a bit. Edie, hey Edie. Edie says, "Hey Harry, looks like you're doing a lot of animation for this one. Looks really good though, despite being cranked out so fast. Not fast enough, Edie, but thank you for the compliment." Tamagotchi says, "I would object. I've gotten a lot of challenge through Lego this year, and it's my new obsession." Well, yeah, I mean Lego. I mean that if you're building something without blueprints and you're actually trying to build an object, that is challenging, and I can't do it. I have no skill with Lego. We have Lego Creationary, I think it's called, which is a board game where you get a tray of Lego and you have to create, you'll get a card with a random image on it, and they have different difficulty levels, and you have to create whatever the picture is on the card. So it could be a fire truck, it could be anything, it could be you know, the Chrysler building, it could be a duck. You've got to now make it out of Lego. I am fast at it, but I'm bad. I just throw pieces together so it has the bare minimum appearance of that object. For example, I got log once. I had to create a wooden log. One piece of Lego. That's all it takes. Just took a brown, one of the longer pieces, I guess. It's a brown lump. There you go. It's a log. Could have been a turd, but I said it was a log, or Joyce guessed it was a log, and she kind of harangued me a little bit for it. She said, "Hey, you know, that's you could have put in a bit more effort." And I said, "I didn't need to. It's a freaking log. It's fine." But she is a genius, and she'll do strange things where she takes, you know, wheels but doesn't use it as a wheel. It'll be, I don't know, a satellite dish on top of a house. She'll do all this unique stuff. I mean, I'm hoping we have kids one day, and she will be an amazing Lego building mum. She will be like just so much fun building stuff out of Lego for the kid, and I'll pay for the Lego. That'll be my contribution. I'll be the breadwinner. I will be entering any competition I can find where the prize is bread. I think that's how you do it. You just basically have to win bread in lots of online competitions, lots of raffles and draws, and just try to win that bread. Figment says, "I keep borrowing my nieces and nephews' Lego when they're not around, though. I'm not that cruel." Oh, when they're not around, though, because you're not that cruel. Well, there we go. That's good to hear. Yeah, Lego is fine. I do like the actually building Lego out of you know, the Lego sets where you're actually building something from a movie. I know that's not the most creative thing to do, but I find it very relaxing because it's nice to be told exactly what to do and you just do it. And there's no stress because you know exactly what you're doing and the instructions are very easy to follow. I find that very relaxing. Very nice kind of thing to do. Nick Neer with the $4 super chat. Thank you very much, Nick Neer. Nick Neer says, "Nice job." Hey, nice job to you too, Nick. Giving me the super chat. Very unnecessary. Well, I appreciate it. Alright, how are we doing on the time? 6:13. 6:13 in Harry World, and we're on frame 9. So, I'm going to try and keep the minutes in line with the amount of frames shaded. So maybe Harry should be picking up the pace, picking up the slack. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about Lego. But what is the point? Why be on live stream if I can't talk about Lego and wooden logs and fun things like that? And remember, we're just trying to do the shading today. The coloring, no way can I do the coloring in the same hour. But I will try to get the colouring finished tonight before I goes to bed. Figment says she still has the original Harry Potter Lego Hogwarts castle. The original one. Now, I imagine that'd be worth some money. That might be worth more than the actual Hogwarts castle by now. Unreadable username says, "You look nothing like your profile pic," which is sad because I spent a lot of nights looking at your profile pic. Yeah, well, I mean, I do look like my profile pic, except my profile pic was drawn in 2009 or 2010, so people change, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I used to dye my hair dark when I was a rebellious youth. I used to dye it dark, and I still prefer the darker color, but I got lazy, got very, very lazy, and gave up, and now it's just my natural kind of muddy blonde. So yeah, and I often have my hair long. I just got it cut short because it's Christmas time. I'm gonna be around family. I don't want to be letting the side down. Don't want to be a disheveled lump in front of relatives. So usually I have the floppy long hair, but it's kind of short at the moment. So yeah, I don't look too different. Trust me. It's just a case of different hair, I think. Okay, let's see now. Arch Hippie says this cartoon is going to devolve into stop motion Lego. Devolve? Wouldn't that be an evolution? Stop motion Lego is, I can see the appeal in it. I wouldn't ever want to do it myself, but I can totally get why people would want to do it. It's really cool to, I think, not only have all that stuff built, kind of it's a toy, but it also works as a way to make stop motion. And if you need, oh, I need another vehicle for my Star Wars stop motion Lego thing, you just go to the toy shop and buy it and then make it. It's just non-stop fun. Maybe when you get to the editing phase, if you're doing lip sync or something in editing, that could be really boring. But yeah, man, I would, I think that would be fun to make one of those. I want to color in this a little bit too. I like that. Alrighty. Oh boy. Let's get the chesty poo all shaded in. I want a thicker brush than that so we can fill in some of these areas quickly. Oh, brother. Guys, I'm going to be right back. I just need to go and quickly head to the bathroom. See you in a minute. Bye-bye. Wow, amazing timing with the end of the theme tune there. So I just wanted to splash some water on my face and splash some water in the toilet bowl. Feeling a little bit dry. I got a question from, what was the name? Sorry. Fernando Schreiner says, am I ever going to do another Mass Effect cartoon? No, one was enough. Yeah, I never actually played those games, so that was purely made for IGN and just purely a done for money type deal. And they actually had somebody whose job it was to tell me stuff about the game because I didn't know what the hell was going on. Never played those games. They look good. I was really into Knights of the Old Republic when that came out. That was back in the days where I played video games, guys. The first Knights of the Old Republic that was my game playing days, back when I was a teenager with nothing to do. Now that I'm a working girl, now that I got bills to pay, you know, even back in 2012, I had bills to pay. I lived on my own at that point still. I just don't have time to play video games, so I've not played Mass Effect. But I mean, it looks good. It looks like I would enjoy it because I love Knights of the Old Republic, and it's BioWare. I was going to say it's made by BioShock. No, BioShock is a game made by somebody else. BioWare is the company. I think I liked that BioWare format because at least I liked Knights of the Old Republic. Okay. How are we doing? We're on frame 11. When we're 20 minutes in to the final hour that I have left to do this. So let's try and do a lightning frame, and then I'll come up and just quickly read some. Let's try and make every other frame a lightning frame. I'll just do a lightning frame, and then I will come up to chat with you guys while I do a slow frame, and then we'll do another lightning frame, and we could go at it like that for a while, and I'll see if I can get relatively close to being done before the deadline comes and whacks me in the back of the skull. Been watching a lot of Let's Plays lately while I work, not like just sat there in my underpants watching Let's Plays. I've been watching Mike Matei do Let's Plays. He's one of my favorite guys to watch just because of how angry he gets and how he doesn't give a crap about sharing every opinion he has, which got him in trouble recently on Twitter, but I quite like that. I find it quite refreshing, and I do wish that I could do that kind of... I do wish I had the visual stimulus that comes with a Let's Play when I do a stream. To play a video game while you're talking, it's like great, visual noise. You can be talking about anything, but there's this extra added thing going on in the background with the video game unraveling in front of everyone's eyes, and you're all mutually sharing the video game together and sort of keeping an eye on the challenges and stuff. But I just don't get that with animation. It's a very dry visual to actually watch it in real time. You're just seeing essentially a very small piece of an action just played out by frame, often on a blank white screen. And I wish I had something more interesting to look at while we talk. Speaking of talk, let's look at the chat. Terranium says, what's your favorite animation cheats? I love it when they compose for the lack of animation with great effects. Animation like intense impact frames and whatnot. Yeah, I actually have. If I turn my camera around, you can see Joyce made me, based on my... see, it says writing, music, pacing, voice acting. She made me a little cheat sheet of getting the camera caught there on the mic arm. She made me like a little list of cheats based on a list that I wrote. She wanted to make me a kind of a fancier one and put her own spin on it, and she put these cool thumbnails from Dragon Ball Z and Hokuto no Ken and stuff up there, and it's just supposed to inspire me to be more anime, I guess, if I want to create something that's still has a lot of impact but doesn't quite take as long. But yeah, man, I love, camera moves. Having wind blowing through the character's hair is a really good thing you can do to keep the characters like alive looking. I think animating just the eyes, having blinks and eye movement, is a really good way to keep things alive. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to need, again, another 10 seconds. I'll be much quicker this time, but I'll tell you why in a minute, alright? I'll be right back. Sorry about this. Oh boy. As you can see, I have a very red face, which is not normal for me. It's always when I live stream, when I have multiple lights on. I got a light on there and a light on there, and the Cintiq is bombarding me with light. And because I get hot in a room filled with lights and a Cintiq in front of me, I turn on my desk fan. My desk fan dries me out at the same time. So it's a combination of lights and dry skin. And I just get this red, flushed face. So I just want to put some ladies' moisturizer on because I feel like I'm drying out completely like a big husk of a man. I mean, I'm a husky man, but I don't want to be a husk of a man. So, excuse me, I had to freshen up, old school style. Let me see. Bowser says my favorite is when there's an impact and it happens off screen. Oh, we're talking about cheap animation tactics here. Yeah, that's the OS thud. If you search on Twitter, I actually did a tweet a few years ago about the OS thud, off-screen thud. Used a lot in Hanna-Barbera cartoons where they'll have somebody run into a kitchen and then because they disappear through the kitchen doors and then you hear a big crash of pots and pans or whatever. You hear the sound of a person hitting a million things in a kitchen, and there's no visual animation. The only movement is just the camera shake, like that. The OS thud, man. I thought I could create a band. We call ourselves OS Thud. That might be a band of animators. I actually came up with a bunch of animator band names recently. Let me see. I had Frankie Thomas Goes to Hollywood. Not too good. The Bakshi Boys, like the Backstreet Boys. Again, not a great one. Milt Kalika. Pretty proud of Milt Kalika. And I think the best one was Donick Bluth. I put those on Twitter too. I think Donick Bluth is perhaps perfection when it comes to famous animators turned into bands. Don Bluth, Sonic Youth, Donick Bluth. So, hey, Anchus Fish. Good to see you from Russia. Arch Hippie says the audience probably doesn't care too much about the lighting. Oh yeah, well, you know, I realize we're throwing way too much effort into this animation by putting lighting in it. I will put out a cartoon this year without shading. It's a big goal of mine. I have a simpler cartoon in mind. I'd like to do some stuff with a simple animation style and not just go forever down this, you know, down this spiral of just trying to increase production value forever, because that doesn't end very well for anybody. The Banshee Boys should do a Halloween parody. All right, Burger Boy, good one, I guess. Sorry. I mean, the Backstreet Boys. Was it the Backstreet Boys? They did everybody. Yeah, that was them. Yeah, yeah. Rock your body now. They did do a spooky video where they go to a haunted house and they all turn into monsters. Anyone remember that? That was the only video of theirs I really liked. And I liked it because it had them turning into monsters. Which is, you know, an easy way to get 7-year-old Harry interested in a boy band. A boy band? Get me interested in voice cracks. Get me interested in a boy band by making them all monsters in a music video. Although, I do like New Kids on the Block, kind of unironically. I like a couple of their songs. And if you've ever seen The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment, there's a bit... This is not a spoiler. Is that a spoiler? Oh, fuck it. It's an old movie. The guy that kills Bruce Willis at the start. The guy who is... There's a huge spoiler. The guy, the weird, creepy, like it's from the 90s, right? If you haven't seen it by now, you can't blame me. The guy that's all shivering and crazy and weird, the guy that breaks into his house and kills Bruce Willis, that's Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block. I only found that out recently. And if you're familiar with who Donnie Wahlberg is, it's Mark Wahlberg's brother. I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind because they so do not look like the same person. He lost a lot of weight apparently to play the role, and it's a tiny role. He's in the movie for about a minute. It's crazy to me that he lost all that weight for it. But yeah, that's Donnie Wahlberg killing Bruce Willis at the beginning of Sixth Sense. I would have never ever guessed that in a million bazillion bagillion years. Okay, we've got a question that somebody once answered. How do you feel about modern YouTube? It seems YouTube is getting worse. I mean, maybe. I don't know what you want me to say. YouTube is still very good to me. So, it's still good to me. It's a way that I can share my content with people for free. and I get money from that. So I would not have a job if it wasn't for YouTube. Patreon now is what's supporting me the most, but I would not have been able to get to that point, I think, of saturation if not for YouTube. Newgrounds is fantastic, and I love Newgrounds, and I'll always support Newgrounds, but because YouTube ate into Newgrounds, YouTube sort of became the top dog, and that's where I needed to be to get my work seen by the most people possible. So it's been really good to me. The thing that I worry about the most with YouTube is banning people whose content doesn't fall into a kind of an approved messaging that YouTube wants to push. So somebody that's making, political... It's different if it's real hate speech, not hate speech, but calls to incite violence, that kind of stuff. That shouldn't be on YouTube. But people that just want to share political ideas, even if they're kind of out there, I think they should be able to do that. And I know that YouTube is a company that doesn't, they're not beholden to allow just anything to be on their website. But I don't like it when people get kicked off the website. And I can't think of anyone recently that's happened to, but I'm sure it has happened. And I worry more about it in the future, where things, if it starts to happen more and more, will it come down to people like me? But maybe I'm a hypocrite because I'm not going to go and put my cartoons on BitChute until I see that BitChute or some other service is more viable. So I'll keep using YouTube because it's the biggest game in town, and I'll always use Newgrounds because I love Newgrounds. So that's about the end of my current feelings about YouTube. I'm very thankful for them still, and I use it all the time. There's so much good stuff on YouTube. There's so many amazing people making amazing content that can basically keep me engaged all day. I can't keep up with it all. I'm not subscribed to that many people that I watch, but even so, there's easily 8 hours of content every day that basically I can watch or have on in the background while I work. So if I'm not live streaming, if I'm actually down in the bush, if I'm sounds filthy. If I'm actually deep in the jungle, the jungle of animation, hacking through with my big machete, hacking through all the frames, there's always stuff on to keep me company on YouTube. It's kind of the radio for this generation. Anthony Lutmer says, how do I say your name, Anthony? Is it Lutmer? I'd say Lutmer. Can you sing America Fuck Yeah in Kilgar's voice? Starberry, fuck yeah! Potatoes! Fuck yeah! Meat! Fuck yeah! Meat! Fuck yeah! Women! Fuck yeah! Women made of meat! Fuck yeah! That would be his version. A couple more mentions of meat. Yeah. I loved Team America when that came out. I still love Trey Parker and the South Park guys. I actually had a poster of Trey Parker on my wall in university that I made, just a collage of images I took from the web, and it said, I think this was part of the collage already. It said "Now You're a Man," which was a reference to the song "Now You're a Man" from Orgasmo. And I always, whenever I felt like I didn't want to animate, I looked up to that poster. This is completely true. And I felt, if I ever want to be, I want to be a man. If I want to be a tough, cool, awesome creator like Trey Parker, I've got to keep making stuff and not get bored or distracted or tired. I've got to keep putting stuff out, keep working hard. And it did inspire me on multiple occasions. I have something else like that now. I have a picture of Dan Aykroyd on my wall. Which is, I can show you, it's honestly heartbreaking. Oh, you guys aren't going to be able to see it. The webcam isn't going to stretch that far, but let me see. You can just about see it there. Just about see old Dan Aykroyd. It's just a garbage, A4 piece of paper that I pinned up to my wall. But it says, Dan Aykroyd was 31 when he filmed Ghostbusters. That's true. Dan Aykroyd is younger in Ghostbusters than I am now. And if that doesn't motivate me to get off my butt and make something, I don't know what will. Of course, I'm older than he is now, but it still inspires me because I'm like, I have not made anything that's 1/5 as cool as Ghostbusters yet. But I'll try. I can't take the Ghostbusters crown, but I can keep can keep on trying at least. Alright, let me see. Peterson Cartoonimations says, yo, 2 streams in a row this week. Awesome, man. Well, can you guess? The woman is out of town. Joyce is with her folks back home. So while the cat is away, the mice will play. The cat in this case being Joyce. The play in question being me ordering takeaway pizzas and watching Mike Matei live stream the Star Wars game for the Famicom downstairs on the big TV. Which, I mean, I would do anyway when Joyce is around, but I'd probably wait till she goes to bed. She loves me, and she's good to me, but I don't think that the love that she has for me is going to stand the stress test of watching me eat a cheese pizza while watching a Let's Play. Just the pizza and Let's Play it's a very sad combination. I don't think she might not love me that much. I don't want to push her. I don't want to find out. Okay. Let me see. Arch Hippie says, I have a few more years to make Ghostbusters. Yeah, go for it, Arch Hippie. He was 31. He wrote it too, and he wrote it with help. It wasn't just him. He had help from Howard Ramis, who is a fair bit older than him. Or was a fair bit older than him. But, I mean, yeah. 31. I know 31-year-olds that can't drive, aka me. I know 31-year-olds that probably couldn't open a bank account or, do the most basic of things. And this guy was making basically a giant, amazing franchise. Very inspiring. And some people say that age isn't important, but whatever motivates you. If it motivates you to look at someone's age and realize what they did at their age versus what you've done and what you haven't done, if that motivates you, use it. Don't worry that there's somehow some shallowness in it to look at the ages of people. I find that helps me really big time. Look at my little red cheeks. This is what I'm talking about with the lights and the fan on. I turned the fan off, but I swear I don't have these bright red little toy soldier cheeks all day. I do, but they're on the other cheeks, if you know what I mean. Bowser the dog, thank you. Bowser says with a super chat, here's some coffee money. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take too much out of this. Wish you were coming to MagFest. I would love to come to MagFest. I think MagFest 2021 I should come to. I have too many plans this year. I already have to be somewhere in early January, so even if a miracle happened and I suddenly got a ticket for this year or next year, I wouldn't be able to come. I did go in 2012. I have been before, and I had a panel actually in 2012, which was a lot of fun, but I'd like to go again. So why don't we work on getting I say we, it's really you poor guys can't necessarily help me with this, but I'll work on getting something together and see if I can go in 2021. So I think that'd be fun, and I think I'll just still be young enough to be able to go, because I'm turning into an old fart, and I don't know if I like video games anymore. And start shaking my cane at them and going, "Arr, arr." No, I like video games still. Just don't have time to play them. Arr. Channel 8-Bit says he was 27 in Blues Brothers. Is that so? 27? That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So young. I have photographs of me on my 25th birthday. Yeah, my 25th birthday. And I had Toy Story napkins on my 25th birthday, like Toy Story. You know, when you have a kid's birthday, you basically go and you can buy, napkins and cups and plates that's all themed. You could get maybe Paw Patrol nowadays or Fortnite or something. I had Toy Story cups, and I didn't buy them. It was like part of something that Joyce did with her mum. But I just remember thinking on that day, yeah, maybe I could be a little bit more adult these days. Maybe I should start growing up just a tiny bit. I did for a while have a moratorium on cartoon character clothing. I felt like graphic t-shirts with cartoon characters on them were probably not something I should be getting, but they're fun. They're fun. I do feel like there's a very big difference between being immature and being a child at heart. You know, it's one thing to be to appreciate stuff like that. It's another thing to just only focus on that stuff and not have a real life or be an actual grown up. And I think I'm pretty grown up for the most part, kind of. I just can't help it. Still like He-Man t-shirts. It's a lovely gift from my sister Holly for Christmas, and she gave me a voucher for another one, and I'm not another He-Man shirt, just another t-shirt from the same seller. And I think I'm gonna get a Transformers or maybe Decepticon t-shirt, because Decepticons are pretty cool. Alright, it's 6:40. I got way more than 24 more frames left to do. I'm not going to do it, guys. It's 6:40 over here in Blighty, in the UK. And I'm not going to be able to finish this on the stream because I've been talking too much and not focusing, not cramming. Alright, let's do another speed frame. I totally forgot. I said I'd try and make every other frame a little bit finished a little bit quicker. And I'll do this. I'll wrap this up as quick as I can. And then I will come and see what is happening in the chat. Ooh, something like that. All right. One. Geranium says Johnny Depp was 16 when he was in Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I guess he was very, very young. That guy's done a lot of stuff. It's so cool. I wish I'd worked harder earlier in my life. I don't know how I left out this part of the frame. I don't think you can work hard enough, but it depends, because there's sacrifices you have to make when you work really, really hard your entire life and never let up. You do sacrifice certain things. There's an interview with the comic book artist Gene Colan. It might be Colan. I'm not sure how I say his name. I think it's Colan, but he's saying he worked on Daredevil. He did fantastic Daredevil artwork. Look up Gene the Man Colan. Look up his artwork for Daredevil. And there's an interview with him on the Daredevil movie DVD. And he talks about how, you know, he loved his career in comics and he did a lot of great work in comics. He's dead now, sadly. He was very old during the interview. Pretty elderly guy. But he said that he had to sacrifice his family, essentially. Not literally, not in a kind of blood, a dagger altar type way, but he sacrificed being able to spend time with his family. He still had a family, so good on him. It's not like he forewent having a family at all, but he didn't see his kids and wife that much because he was always sat down in much the same position as me and drawing away, scratching away with a pen in his hand. So, you know, you can sacrifice a lot of things if you dedicate yourself too much to work. But then some people can't stand not working, basically. It's like a thorn in their mind, you know? If you're not being creative or you're not putting something out, you're not communicating your ideas to the world, it can actually be a detriment to that person's, you know, state of mind almost. So why was this not coloring in? There we go. The leg did not want to color in. Alright, okay. Let me see now. I want to finish this frame. Let's get it finished. Get it finished, Harry, and then you can come back to the chat. Get it finished, Harry. Oh boy, we're not even halfway through. We're not even halfway through. This is something I could hire somebody else to do. I hate to say it. That's my plan in 2020. If I can't find another way to, you know, make things quicker and easier, I've got to hire a colorist, but I don't want them to work for free. I've had some very nice people in the Discord suggest that they could do it, but I really want to pay somebody because it's a lot. I think it's morally a bit ambiguous and not quite right to accept help for free. But yeah, so maybe in 2020. All right. Okay, that frame is done. That frame is done. Okay. Hey, Uncle You, thank you for coming by. Yeah, I do shading before colors. That's just the way. That's just the way I am. I don't know how, but He-Man is making a big comeback. Yeah, it sounds like they're giving it a push with the 2 Netflix shows, but I'm not that excited. Not really. I don't like the new She-Ra. Not at all. That's not for me. So I don't think that necessarily a I don't like a lot of reboots, honestly. I find them usually to be disappointing if I'm a fan of the original. If I'm not a fan of the original, the reboot might be great. I'm trying to think of an example. I mean, The Fly is an amazing remake of a movie, but the Jeff Goldblum Fly. But for example, if I'd never seen another good remake, The Thing, if I'd never seen the 1950s The Thing from Another World, or whatever it was called, and I have never seen it, so I am one of these people. I loved the 1984 John Carpenter version. I'm sure there are some old-timers that grew up with the 50s version. They hate the 1980s version. They go, oh, it's too violent, it's disgusting, it's not adventurous, it's not like the original. But I'm one of those people that never watched the original, and I only watched the 80s version. I love the 80s version, but then I saw trailers for the 2011 remake of the 80s version, and it was all CGI, and I didn't like the look of the cast, and I thought, well, I don't want to watch that. No, it's not the one I knew. So it's tough, I think, to be a fan of something and to live through a reboot. It's usually not all that fun because you get attached to how things were originally, and yeah, I'm not too hyped for the Netflix He-Man return, but I will check it out. I'm too tempted. It's like the 2016 Ghostbusters movie that with the ladies in it. I could tell from the trailers I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but I was 100% going to go and check it out because I'm a Ghostbusters nut. So a Ghostbusters nut sounds too close to saying go bust a nut, so I should probably refrain from describing myself that way. But yeah. Terranium says, how do you feel about interns? Well, man, if we're talking about having people work for free, I don't get the intern thing. Why don't you just pay them and agree that it's a temporary thing? I don't know. Maybe. I guess somebody could be working and then they put it on their resume. But I can't think of a way that I would escape the wrath of anyone by advertising saying, I'm looking for animation interns. I'm pretty sure that most people would just look at that and go, this guy just wants people to work for free. This guy sucks. He's just looking for free employees. Which would be, you know, well, whether or not I was looking for it, that's kind of what you're getting with an intern that's not paid. Do people pay interns sometimes? Just very badly, maybe? Give them like kind of minimum wage? I don't even know if I can afford minimum wage. That's just part of the issue, is that when I do get around to employing someone, I've got to find how to pay them exactly. The plan was, when the Patreon expanded a little bit, I would take some of that extra money and give it to, well, a lot of that extra money, basically all the money I don't need to live on would be given to assistants to do more work than I would be able to produce on my own, and we'd kind of create this snowball effect where we'd get maybe more content out there which would promote the Patreon more, which would allow me to hire more assistants, because I spend all day working. I don't really need money for anything. I live pretty cheaply for the most part, but I really like making stuff, so I always thought it would be fun to take that money and just put it back into the production, but you need that money, you know, to begin with. So, all right. What about £1 per frame? Yikes. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you're asking them to do for that frame. If they're just doing color fills, probably $5 a frame or something isn't actually that far off what you pay. And if you're animating, even probably that could be $10 a frame, so it's not too far off of $5. But a £1 per frame, unless the characters could be colored in, you know, a matter of minutes. I don't feel like that would be particularly fair. Okay. Alright, so we are coming up to basically being halfway through the frames, but I only have 10 minutes. Oh, gosh, guys, I can't do it today. What a fucking heartbreak. Excuse my French. Pardon my fucking French. Yeah, I'm sorry, I let you all down. I'll just stop live streaming. This isn't worth it. I can't get anything done. Oh, bro. Yeah, this is the thing. I turned the fan off because I was getting the red flushy face, but now your boy's getting too warm. Oh boy. All right. Okay, let's do some animation, coloring, shading, coloring, whatever. Let's get it done. Oh, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Oi, 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 oi. I'm looking forward to going out though in 10 minutes because I'm going to my mum's house because my sister is staying there and I'm going to have pizza. I went over there last night. It was very nice. I had salmon and noodles, and tonight we're going to have pizza. It's always kind of, I like Christmas because I don't like Joyce going back home to be with her family. I mean, she needs to be with them. It's nice that she sees them, but you know, it's not awesome to not have Joyce around. But I do like going to see my family, hanging out with them, having dinner with them. Very, very, very nice. And my mum always buys a lot of food for Christmas time, and you know, it means that I get to put on £5 in you know, a week and a half, which is just excellent for me and my state of mind and my heart. It's just really great. Okay. So we're still shading this bad boy in, and like I say, guys, basically only got 10 minutes left. So if there's anything you want to ask, I'll try and get to it in the next 10 minutes, but you got to put it in the chat and I'll take a look and see. Yeah, you're right, time's up, says Tamagotchi. It's technically been an hour. I can still squeeze out a couple more minutes. Nacho Hamburg says you can do it, bro. I don't think I can do it. That's the problem. That's like, I get it, you know, I'm Rocky and you're Adrian and you're cheering me on. She wasn't really cheering him on in the first movie, but, you know, by Rocky 4 she was cheering him on. You're cheering me on, but it's like, I'm Rocky and I'm fighting, you know, Voltron. Yeah, there's no way I can do it in a couple of minutes, but we'll try. We'll just try. Let's just... Oh, it's the thing. Alright. 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 Let's just keep going here. Let's keep going. Keep going. Okay, and do. I always want to sing and hum themes, and then I remember there's background music going on my live streams. I shouldn't be singing Thunderbird's theme tune, clashing with the music that we've already taken time and attention and care to include. Come on, color in, you swine. Oh, I just can't leave gaps. That's my problem. I hate it when there are little gaps of uncolored stuff that's supposed to be colored in. So, okay, all right, that's good with me. Good with me. Okay, Channel 8Bet says, reckon some 3D tech could make this easier in the future. It could probably do that. If you have any ideas, let me know. Let me know how. You need to shill some next year to grow your Patreon. I agree, Terranium. I got to shill big time, but I don't want to come out of the blue, having not put out a cartoon in months, and say, "Hey, everyone, you know, money, please." So I think following the release of something that's really good and worthwhile, I can shill a lot more. I haven't even shilled my live account yet, this YouTube account you're watching the video on, the live stream, I haven't mentioned on my main channel that I'm doing this yet, because I don't know how that'll change yet, and I'm not even sure this is something I want to make my name with. I don't think that streaming for me is necessarily something I'm really gonna do that much of in the long run. I don't not enjoy it. It is enjoyable, but I just think that animation is a very strange thing to stream, because it's just so, like we were saying earlier, so visually boring. Which is a shame. It's animation. It should be visually fun, but to animate in real time and do coloring and drawing, I think rough animation is something I could do on live stream. But then again, I'm not always doing that. Most of the time is spent cleaning up and shading, and doing other kind of boring things like lip sync, which are not all that interesting to watch. Anthony says, where would the Starbarians fall in the D&D alignment system? Well, I guess Kilgar would be chaotic evil. And I think Hogstrong would be probably a true neutral. Because Hogstrong, I know I haven't made enough content yet to express this idea necessarily, but Hogstrong is not really an evil guy. Actually, I think he'd be neutral good. Meaning that he's a good person, but he doesn't have a particular allegiance to any kind of system of government or rules. But Kilgar is completely out for himself and doesn't really give a shit about it. Although I don't know if he is chaotic, but I think he's chaotic evil, and I think Hogstrong would be neutral good. So that's my take on it. Anyway, you may disagree, but give me the benefit of maybe getting out episode 4 and 5 at some point so you can see where the whole thing's going. Oh god, it's taken forever. Don't. You'll make me cry. Oh, we're also doing a Starbarians comic in 2020. So that's going to help tell some stories. That's going to help put a little bit more of the characters out there into the ether. So people can make their minds up then if the characters are monsters or not. I don't know. Alright. Color that big clumsy hand in. Did a pretty slapdash job with that hand, Harry. And let me see if there's anything else in the chat I can chew over for the next 3 minutes. Not gonna finish. Not gonna finish. Do the Starbarians still have Princess Bastilda on their ship? Peterson. No, they do not. I have a story written. God knows if I'll ever get to make it. I think I will make it because it does tie into the comic. So I'm going to have to tell that story for the part of the comic to make sense. Unless I change the comic, which I don't think I will at this point, because we're already, getting started with that. No, she is not in any way harmed. But I don't want to tell you why. There is kind of a little bit of a method to the madness. Not that I knew that when I made the cartoon at the time, but I've thought a bit more about it, and it didn't sit well with me, the idea of Hogstrong just tying up a woman and stealing her, because I don't think that's something that he would do. So I'm gonna say that maybe there's a little bit of subterfuge going on there. Kilgar maybe has not been entirely honest about the situation with Hogstrong, and I don't want to talk about any more. We were referencing this kind of thing last stream. When you talk about things that haven't happened yet, and you're talking about plans that haven't been fulfilled, it can just be kind of like masturbating. You're just getting all the joy of relishing in your ideas without actually putting in the work. So I may have to put a lifetime ban on talking about Starbarian stuff that hasn't happened yet, because the D&D thing is different, because that's more just analytical, but I can't talk about stuff I want to do without I just gotta go and do it. And that's what I'm trying to do today. Even though it's going slow, I am trying to make some content for you. Alrighty. Archibi says it's not stealing, they won her in a game of chance. Very true. Will the comic tell a different story, or is it some kind of continuation? No, it's a completely different story, Eunice. It's the same characters, of course, but it is not. It is a self-contained story without a to-be-continued silly ending. It's actually it's like Indiana Jones. It's a new adventure that wraps up at the end, but runs in tandem and in continuity with other adventures in a kind of wider story. So I think you guys will like it. And if it does well, we'll do another one. And if that does well, we'll do another one. And if that one does well, we'll stop completely. We'll do no more. Alright, well, guys, I gotta go, because it's 7 p.m. So look, we got over halfway, which is pathetic. But this is me. I've been animating since I was 15 years old, and I still can't predict how long anything's going to take me. I still think something's going to take me a day. It takes me 7 months. I think something's going to take me a month. It takes me 7 years. So that's how I am. But we can take a look at this bit of animation. We can at least time it out just a little bit. Let me see. It's going to be... Just color that in just a touch. This way, if I arrive a little bit late for dinner, I'll know the dinner will be ready. Otherwise, there's too much socializing going to be happening. Now, I'm just putting this on 2s. It won't be on 2s completely. I will make some of it on 1s to smooth it up. So this is going to look a little choppier than it actually will be in the main cartoon, in the finished cartoon. So. And that's where we're at right now. So I'm working on that bit right now. But he goes, there he is. So he says, Kilgarian hearts pump boiling acid and are in their groins. Something like that. Boiling acid. Gonna have the fingers do that with Bonesaw fingers. Pump boiling acid and are in their groins. Idiot. And then he... Yeah, it's too fast there, but idiot. And then he slams the door. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming by today. I'm sorry we were not able to finish the work that I set out to do. That is just the way things go in Harry's stinky little world. But I'll be back at some point. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for coming by. It's a real honor and a blessing and a pleasure and a curse. No, it's not. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you again soon. You take care. Bye-bye now.